Meet the entrepreneurial Omari brothers of Kenya. They turn newspaper waste into an environmentally sustainable business, making pesos.
The Cross River State government assures of timely completion of signature projects and cargo airports to boost tourism and trade.
Creating jobs and cleaning the environment. Workers in the informal waste picking trade find jobs at a data-driven solar-powered sorting and baling hub in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Hello and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from the Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Joke Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
The Cross River State Governor, Basi Otus, has given assurances of timely completion of the signature project of the Ben Ayade administration, the Obudu Passenger and Cargo Airport, to help promote tourism and trade in the state. Speaking in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, the governor explained that all hands are on deck to see that the project becomes a reality in no distant time.
The Obudu region, famous for its breathtaking landscapes and tourism potential, is on the verge of an exciting transformation. The development of the Obudu Passenger and Cargo Airport is a significant project aimed at boosting the economy of Cross River State. The project, which the Basi Otus administration inherited from the immediate past administration, is receiving attention to ensure its timely completion as it remains a critical part of the state government's development agenda.
I think we were almost done when they discovered a seepage, a water seepage, and the technical people have come in with a new drawing and things have been put in place, and we are following the corrections that were suggested. We believe that by the time the inspectors come again, will be approved. The moment they do, all other things for the airport are really the landing facilities, the lights, everything is on ground and so on. But it's just to pass the technical examination that yes, an aircraft can actually come with the number of people who come and land on the tarmac safely.
The airport is expected to open up new markets and new opportunities to trade more easily with the outside world.
This airport itself is part of tourism. Cross River State is known for tourism. Tourism doesn't come with, that physical cash or physical listing to give to you. But the multiply effect of having tourists come to your place is something you can't quantify. And the governor is, from time to time, ensuring that he keeps, to some payments to making sure that this project continues to go on. It tells you that there's some movement. We are moving.
In the meantime, it's a race against time to complete the project ahead of the deadline as contractors gave account of the challenges and progress of work.
The national lake, like you say, is natural, it's something we have to control. If it's not properly handled, we'll discover that we are sending water back to the nearby communities. So we'll try to manage the water. It's underground water. It's not something we can put an end to it. We just need to manage it. We've introduced an additional drain system to see that we channel the water to the appropriate body, while also ensuring that we get the right runway strip for the airport.
The airport is poised to change the game for tourism in the region as Obudu Ranch Resort, one of the most popular tourist destinations in Nigeria, will be more accessible with an airport close by.
Joining us to talk more on Cross River State's signature projects is Special Advisor Aviation, Cross River State, Ken Akla. A pleasure having you on the program today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure too.
So what's the current state of aviation infrastructure in Cross River State and the plans in place to upgrade or expand existing facilities?
Well, currently in Cross River State, we have an airport in Calabar, the Margaret Echo International Airport. We also have an airstrip at Bebi in the Obanliku local government at the hills of the mountains to Obudu Resort. And then the state government is ambitious enough to try to create an international passenger cargo airport in Obudu. Now the question is, what's the state of the infrastructure? Yes, in Calabar, it is there, but remember also that between Calabar and the other local governments of Cross River in the north is about 6 hours of long journey, to be able to get to Calabar to board a flight. And so that incapacitates our people from this way to be able to access. You need to take a day there, sleep, pay hotel bills and all that to be able to access, your flights away from there to other parts of the city. What is the current infrastructure in that airport? Yes, it's going well, but I think the landing facilities, perfect as they are, I think the lighting also has a problem. And so you do not find flights landing in Calabar after 6:30.
Right. How does the state government plan to promote tourism and economic development through aviation, particularly with the presence of the Obudu Plateau and other tourist attractions?
Yeah, this is a fine one. His Excellency, our President Governor, Senator Prince Edevetu, it's a man who thinks that his people must constantly make a living out of life. So he tries at every point that he has the opportunity to better the life of his citizenry. Apart from roads and all that he's doing, Cross River State is basically known for tourism. Of course, that we have the biggest street party in the world, the Carnival Calabar and all. We thrive in tourism. And so aviation itself, especially the airport we are trying to create in Cross River State, north of Cross River State, in Obudu specifically, it's an airport that is going to also help or assist to boost, the tourism potentials of Cross River State. How can this be? How would it be? Obudu itself is flanked by the biggest resort in Nigeria, the Obudu Cattle Ranch, with all of the potentials that holds. People find it difficult to get to the resort because, one, flight connectivities are a problem. Like I said to you, the airstrip which was there, or which is still there, trying to cover for these gaps, requires some specialized, flying. You need to be extremely very careful because it's sandwiched between mountains to be able to fly people there. And so it is not, a steady functional facility for daily flights. And so we decided to, build this cargo airport so we could make use of it. People need to fly to the ranch. Like I said, from Calabar to Obudu, when people fly from other states or from other countries to Calabar, you need 6 hours of road journey. And so that joy, that fun that you want to come and have, half of the ranch, it diminishes by the time you get off the ranch. 7 to Obudu, 6 hours to Obudu, 1 hour off the ranch and all that. And so you get there a tired person. So we find this connectivity, a boost for tourism. We find the fact also that it's also going to create an influx of people coming into Cross River State. That is tourism. When tourists come to your place and they spend their hard-earned dollars and all that, you find that even the local business person, who sells as simple as granules, which is a common, fruit around the north of Cross River State, people begin to make money. And so it brings creativity. We believe also in Cross River State that apart from the fact that we're already known for tourism, we must also create a likelihood, that avenue for people to make money. Because first, to be able to qualify or have something to patronize leisure, you must also have the physical card. So all of these are one for job creation, create some wealth in the pockets of our people so that we can continue to patronize the leisure for which tourism is known for.
Right. And what safety measures and regulations are being put in place to ensure the well-being of passengers and crew at the airports and airstrips?
Also, plenty thanks to the regulators, those who regulate our airports in this thing. They are not leaving any stone unturned. They put us at all times on our toes, and so they're always here to see what we're doing. Where they require us to go all over it, we do. For instance, it keeps pushing the timing for completion because we are putting everything in order, to ensure that at the end of the day we have not just a world-class facility, but that facility is safe for inbound passengers and for our people who patronize that airport.
And are there any plans to establish partnerships or collaborations with private sector operators or international organizations to develop the aviation sector?
Yeah, greatly so. His Excellency thinks also that, when the airport is completed, we are going to also get the private sector to manage it. And so there's that collaboration already working on to see that we get the best of hands to manage the airport. Government is not going to be involved in the direct management of the airport. And also, through the collaborations, we are also going to train and retrain, staff of the airport. We are going to try to enhance the possibility for safety and security in the airport through this collaboration. Thank you very much. But as my parting words, just to say to you that the government of Cross River State is determined to give a world-class airport. As I speak with you, we are going to have, an airport. We are going to have the governor in the airport to assess the state of work by this weekend. And in all of that, the idea is to see that we do not let anything, the T's and the I's are crossed and dotted properly, so that at the end of the day, everybody will be happy flying through this airport into Cross River and into the world.
Right. A pleasure having you again, Ken Akla, Special Advisor, Aviation, Cross River State.
A new initiative is reshaping the lives of smallholder farmers and students in Malawi. The homegrown school feeding program, championed by the UN World Food Programme, is bridging the gap between agriculture and public primary schools, resulting in improved nutrition for students and economic empowerment for farmers. Lamek Masina reports from Blantyre.
Pirirani Nkwate is a small-scale farmer in the Zomba district of southern Malawi. She says that about 5 years ago, she started making more money selling her crops directly to her local primary school than she did selling to middlemen.
This program has helped earn money to pay school fees for my 2 children. I've also bought 2 cows, something I never imagined before. Now I have a steady income.
Nkwate is part of the UN World Food Programme's homegrown school feeding program. Since its pilot effort in 2012, the program has grown to support over 800,000 students and 35,000 farmers in 11 districts across the country.
It provides farmers with reliable markets for up to 200 school days annually, boosting incomes and resilience. And it promotes dietary diversity, offering school children meals with ingredients from Malawi's 6 food groups.
In the past, we were eating porridge made from soy flour only, but now with the coming of this homegrown initiative, we are eating porridge from maize flour, potatoes cooked with ground nut flour, rice and pumpkins, and sometimes potatoes mixed with vegetables.
The World Food Programme says the initiative has helped increase daily school attendance from 77% to 92% and reduce health-related absenteeism by 11%.
We use the smallholder farmers that lack a lot of resources, and because of that, the food comes to our school maybe with 2 or 3 days late.
World Food Programme says it is addressing the challenge, sourcing food from farmers in cooperatives around the schools. The farmers say the initiative has helped them earn enough money to construct houses, while for students, it promises a healthier and a brighter future. Lamek Masina, VOA News, Blantyre, Malawi.
Vice President Kashim Shettima says President Bola Tinubu's administration remains committed to ensuring inclusivity and national development. He said this at the presidential villa in Abuja during the formal handover of the property and assets of Nok University to the federal government by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Our State House correspondent Empress Simon reports.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, Governor Ubasani of Kaduna State, and stakeholders from Kaduna South, including the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, are in the conference hall of the Vice President's office at the State House for the official handing over of the property and assets of Nok University to the federal government by the EFCC Chairman, Mr. Ola Olukayode. Nok University, formerly privately owned, is now renamed Federal University of Applied Sciences, Kachia, following the order of final forfeiture given by a federal high court in Abuja last year. The vice president says the decision is in keeping with President Bola Tinubu's promise to the people of southern Kaduna, as well as a testament of the administration's effort to give every part of the country a sense of belonging.
Let's coalesce into a single force, irrespective of differences in political affiliations, religious persuasions, tribal or sectional backgrounds.
The move is also considered apt in fostering peace and security.
Everybody in Southern Kaduna and Kaduna in general is excited about this great feat. We just want to say thank you very much. Also in the security sector, these are ideas that will bring peace to the entire region, and peace is what we try to preach.
The new Federal University of Applied Sciences, Kachia, will offer various courses, and the Kaduna State government is promising adequate support to make the institution succeed.
We will ensure that all the processes are concluded, including giving the CFO of the land to the Honorable Minister of Education. And I also want to inform everyone that Mr. President directed that the university should be captured in this very budget of 2025.
These universities will offer various courses in areas of applied sciences, medicine, pharmacy, nursing, and physiotherapy.
In addition to education, Vice President Shatima reaffirms the Tinubu administration's commitment to infrastructure development in southern Kaduna, particularly in road construction. From the presidential villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
It's time now for a short break. As we do, remind you to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. And still to come, Zamfara state government unveils plans to address unemployment, limited access to education, and economic challenges.
Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Kenyan brothers Mahmoud and Rashid Omari are committed to doing what they can for the environment and running a successful business at the same time. The two are turning recycled newspaper into pencils. VOA's Patrick Wanjoy met the brothers to learn about their process and entrepreneurial journey.
Mahmoud and Rashid Omari see new beginnings in old news. The brothers retired from their careers to launch Momo Pencils in Machakos, Kenya. Acting on a suggestion by one of their business partners, CEO Mahmoud says the company began transforming recycled newspapers into eco-friendly pencils.
My partner came up with the idea and said that one of my co-founders said, you know, we can make pencils from newspapers. And it was a novel idea at that time. And said, okay, I didn't know it was possible, but after we did our research and everything, we realized it's possible.
After extensive research and some training, Mahmoud and Rashid bought the specialized equipment needed to launch their pencil making business. Now, 5 years later, they can produce up to 1 million pencils a month. Just 2 newspaper pages can make 3 pencils with 0 waste. The process begins as soon as the newspapers arrive. First, the newspaper is cut based on the measurements set by the Kenya Bureau of Standards.
That's when we paste the insert, we put the lid onto the newspaper, and roll it through the machine to get the cylindrical shape.
Next, the pencils are laid out to dry in the sun. After drying, they are polished with sandpaper, followed by edge cutting. A finishing film is then applied.
Once we've done that, we go to the next, where we take it to the shrinking machine. Shrinking machine is where you bind the film onto the pencil. From there, we take it for sharpening. And then the last stage is packing.
Momo Pencils employs about 50 people and attracts most of its customers through its official website. Mahmoud says many customers are intrigued by how the recycled newspaper pencils differ from the traditional wooden pencils.
The difference is when you look at the aspect of the innovation, which is recycling, we are using newspapers instead of wood. Number two, if you look at the quality, it's long-lasting and durable. And number three is a product made in Kenya.
Despite frequent economic challenges, Mahmoud and Rashid say they remain determined 5 years in to make history with their pencils. They say they hope to build a strong foundation for the future. Patrick Wanjoy, VOA Africa, Nairobi, Kenya.
The government of Zamfara state has restated its commitment to youth development and to unveil a series of initiatives aimed at addressing critical challenges such as unemployment, limited access to education, and economic constraints. This announcement was made by the State Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Tasiu Shinkafi, during the inauguration of the Zamfara State chapter of the 2025 Youth Assembly of Nigeria in Gusau, the state capital.
Youths from across the 14 local government areas of Zamfara State gather for the inauguration of the state chapter of the Youth Assembly of Nigeria.
That I will be to the Youth Assembly of Nigeria.
This assembly is part of efforts to foster unity and inclusiveness among the youths in the state.
As the Youth Assembly of Nigeria is a legislative body, Youth Assembly of Nigeria is committed to addressing the present issues that affected our generation.
The Assembly is a youth-led and focused voice platform that aims to empower and inspire young Nigerians to be active, and a pledge to work with the state government to empower young people in the state.
We are ready to contribute our quota towards the actualization of any youth-driven initiative in the state. We therefore appeal to the government to consider bringing youth closer to its faults so as to fully harness our full potentials and ensure sustainable development in the state.
In his keynote address, the Zamfara State Commissioner for Youth and Sports highlights the establishment of skills acquisition centers across the 3 senatorial zones as a cornerstone of the government's youth empowerment strategy.
Governor Dawda is fully committed to youth development. We recognize the challenges we face: unemployment, limited access to education, and economic constraints. But we are determined to create opportunities that will enable you to realize your full potential. We have intention to establish skills acquisition centers in the 3 senatorial zones of the state.
The event marked a significant milestone in youth empowerment and development in the state, as the newly inaugurated executives promised to champion the cause of young people and contribute to the state's growth and prosperity.
Some of Johannesburg's informal waste reclaimers got an upgrade recently. A collaboration turned a sprawling camp into an award-winning data-driven solar-powered sorting and baling hub. As Maurice de Klerk reports, incomes are up and the neighbors are happy.
Peter Boy is one of 8 resident waste reclaimers at the Urban Surfer Recycling and Solar Baling Hub in Johannesburg, South Africa, collecting and selling recyclable waste for an income.
I come recycling because my job was finished. It's better to do something, not to go and steal somewhere.
Before the hub went live in April, the reclaimers lived and sorted at an informal open-air camp near the Hollard Insurance headquarters. The socially and sustainably conscious insurer contracted Urban Surfer, an informal recycling consultancy, to formalize and manage the camp as a pilot project with the permission of the reclaimers and other neighbors.
Some supplying water to the reclaimers, some supplying seeds to plant. Now, with it being completely enclosed, with them having sleeping quarters and the relevant equipment, it actually contributes really nicely into the neighborhood.
Residents also have access to Wi-Fi and solar power, and they've even started a garden. The camp doubles as a sorting, processing and storage facility. The reclaimers are issued trolleys and personal protective equipment. Urban Surfer assists with training and collects data on the little-studied world of informal waste reclaimers. Since the project's start, the reclaimers baled and sold more than 70 tons of recyclable litter for combined earnings of about $12,500, almost tripling their individual average incomes.
I can send my family money, I can phone them, I can buy me a clothes, I can buy me food, I can go home with that little money I have.
The guys are more presentable, so they are collecting in areas with large volumes of waste like shopping centers, business parks, offices, and now they're not only just collecting and selling, but they are collecting and bailing their waste.
They are essential to maintaining our infrastructure in South Africa, and seeing them as important will help to reduce the stigma that is attached to them, because they are seen as people who intrude and encroach in our neighborhoods.
Polico, a non-profit legally mandated to increase recycling on behalf of plastic producers, is the project's other main sponsor. Marisa de Klerk, VOA News, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Well, that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCord in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. To remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joker Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.